trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So hello, Nessa G, Bronze Flat Power God, we the people. All right, let's get into it. Christopher Perkins, Desmond Pearly. Okay. Sandra, DJ Big Six. All right, Claudette, I see you, beloved. Aqua Girl Rising. All right, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. All right, I see you, 504 Nola. Dark 2. Okay, so everyone hit the like button. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, I see you, Pearly. Okay, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. All right, so let's get into it. Because Cash Patel fired 7 FBI agents and also some support staff. Now, this is all interesting because of the timing of it all. Because remember, when Trump first got into office, they fired a bunch of agents then. So why now all of a sudden are they coming out and firing these agents? Okay, I have several questions. And at one point I was thinking, is this another distraction? Okay, after all the stuff we have seen Cash Patel doing over the past few days, are they trying to get us to look in another direction because of the Epstein files? Who knows? Who knows? But what I do know is that some of these agents or former agents have turned on Trump and they've started spilling a whole lot of tea. And we're about to get into it. Okay, so please pay attention. Everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Kash Patel just fired at least 7 FBI agents and some of the support staff. Let's get into it. Agents that were fired were supposedly a part of the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Remember when Trump left office and he was accused of taking classified documents with him to Mar-a-Lago, where these agents were part of the investigation. And basically, they had been looking through Kash Patel and Susie Wiles, who's now the White House chief of staff, looking through their phone records, metadata. And so I guess Kash Patel didn't like that. Okay, please pay attention. A tipster said that Trump was on a private plane with Susie Wiles back then, and he showed her a classified document, which is in fact illegal because, first of all, it's classified and he wasn't supposed to have it. And for two, she didn't have the proper clearance to be viewing it in the first place. Okay, please pay attention. FBI was also investigating the fact that Kash Patel said that he witnessed Trump declassifying multiple of these documents. Okay, they clearly didn't believe it, and they were conducting an investigation to try to confirm his story, which in my opinion was likely a lie, because why would he have been witness to the president declassifying documents? Okay, please pay attention. Susie Wiles was previously Trump's head of the Political Action Committee when he decided to run for president the first time. But what I find interesting about this whole thing is these agents and support staff were fired within 24 hours of a story that broke, revealing that Kash Patel and Susie Wiles' phone records had been obtained. Okay, please pay attention. As far as I'm concerned, Kash Patel has a lot of nerve firing anybody. Okay, he needs to fire himself. Why is he flying all around, going to the Olympics and all of that, hanging out, chugging beer and everything on the taxpayers' dime? Okay, he's not doing his job. He wasn't even at the State of the Union. Okay, where is he when all of these important things are going on and happening? Well, he's out partying. And if you ask me, he thinks that he can go out here and party and, nobody's going to say anything about it. And Trump's not going to do anything about it because he has the goods on Trump, if you ask me. Because all of these people, I'm sure they've all seen what's really in those Epstein files. I'm sure they've seen the videos and they know exactly what Trump was up to. And they're likely holding that over his head, just like Iran claims to be holding things over his head and saying that if Trump dares to try to come for them, they're going to release some video footage of him doing things that he wouldn't want anybody to know. Okay, please pay attention. I mean, even Ghislaine Maxwell has something on Trump's head. That's why they sent her to Club Fed in the first place. And she's getting preferential treatment while she's there. Okay, but also she had her attorney file a petition of habeas corpus the other day. And she basically is complaining about the documents being released. Why would she care about those documents being released? Saying it's a violation of her constitutional rights. Well, why would she worry about that when she's already been sentenced, tried and convicted, and all of that? Well, it's likely because with the documents being released, whatever leverage that she has over Trump is in those documents. And if they're being released, then she no longer has leverage. Okay. And we all know that she wants that pardon. Okay. Please pay attention. And now, mind you, this is my opinion. Okay. But drop me a comment to let me know what you think. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, Kash Patel fired those people. And what is he up to? What is he hiding? But then here's the statement that he issued. Now, this is what he said to Reuters after these people were all fired. And I wonder why he would be so upset that they were going through his phone records. Okay. And the article that was released didn't give out any, confidential information. It just simply stated that they reviewed he and Susie Wiles's phone records. Okay. So this is what Kash says. It is outrageous and deeply alarming that the previous FBI leadership secretly subpoenaed my own phone records, along with those of now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, using flimsy pretext and burying the entire process in prohibited case files designed to evade all oversight. Did y'all hear it? Did y'all hear that? How dare they? So this is why they're fired? Isn't that something? So this is why they're fired. All of these people need to be suing. Okay, all of these people need to be suing this administration. All right. Now, mind you, they were conducting that investigation per orders. Okay, they didn't just make it all up. Well, anyway, now all they've done is made some enemies. Okay, because let's talk about it. I'm going to share my screen. Now, David Sandberg, can you all see that? Okay, there we go. Okay, now David Sundberg, 56, oversaw the FBI's Washington field office from January 2023 until January 2025, when the Trump administration forced him and 7 other senior leaders to resign. Now, the move, days after Mr. Trump was sworn in, proved to be the first in a series of purges. In an interview, Mr. Sundberg said he had decided to run for Congress as he grew dismayed at how President Trump was directing the FBI and the Justice Department to investigate and prosecute his perceived political enemies. He said, "I'm running to uphold the oath that I took at the beginning of my career, an oath that didn't change when the Trump administration forced me out of the federal government," he said. "During that career, I worked to ensure that no one was above the law. And over the last year, we've seen some terrible abuses against the people of the United States." Okay, now that's a good motivation to start telling what you know. All right, so they forced these people out. I mean, did they not think these people might turn on them or start telling information? What they'll do is they'll probably try to have them arrested at some point and act as though they revealed some sort of classified information. Okay, please pay attention. Now listen to this. Agents with the FBI's elite evidence response team were delayed in reaching the scene of a mass shooting at Brown University in December because there was no FBI plane available to take them to Rhode Island, according to 3 sources and a whistleblower's account newly provided to Congress. See, they're telling what they know. Now listen to this part. FBI Director Kash Patel was in South Florida at the time with one of the FBI's 2 available jets and had given an order to hold the other for another team that would not normally respond to the scene, according to the whistleblower and sources. Now, the evidence response team instead had to drive through the night amid a snowstorm to reach the university in Providence, Rhode Island by 9 o'clock the next morning, according to the whistleblower's account. An FBI spokesperson told MS Now Tuesday he disputed the allegation that there were delays because of the director's travels, but said he would check into the matter more deeply to gather information. Do you all hear this? Now, isn't this interesting? Okay, I mean, it's the hypocrisy of it all because remember how Kash Patel was going in on former FBI Director Christopher Wray and accusing him of all sorts of things. And look at him. Look at him. And also, I find it interesting because in the beginning, Kash Patel also was doing like this whole campaign about how he was going to catch the people, find the people in the Epstein files and prosecute people and all of this, get them off the streets. And now he's doing anything but doing the exact opposite, protecting the PDF files. Okay? Nothing but lies told by all of the people in this administration, allegedly. Just a darn shame. But all the tea is being spilled at this point because they've made a myriad of enemies. I mean, it is so bad when you even have other countries threatening to release files of you doing nefarious things. Okay? That's how you know that he did these things, or at least some of them, in my opinion. Now, Scott McFarland says Senator Durbin also says the director's misplaced priorities and poor management of the FBI's resources, including its aircraft, also harmed the FBI's ability to respond to the shooting at Brown University on December 13th of 2025. Once again, the shooting reconstruction team was set. Okay, so this just think about how serious that is. Just think about how serious that is. Meanwhile, Cash is out here taking the private plane, going to pick up his girlfriend, the country singer, for dates. Isn't that something? Now they said, listen to this. Now they're talking about Charlie Kirk's death. Let me share my screen. Yes, FBA Justice said they should release the videos. Absolutely, they should. I think eventually they will be, whether if it's on purpose or accidents. Okay, so listen to this. Alert, Kash Patel flights. Senator Dick Durbin says whistleblower has revealed in the immediate aftermath of the murder of Charlie Kirk, the FBI's shooting reconstruction team was asked to fly to Utah to aid the investigation and process the scene. However, the team's deployment was delayed by at least a day because of a bureau plane and pilot shortage caused by the director's personal flights. And who is that? Well, Kash Patel. This man is just doing whatever he wants to do. Do you all hear this? Like, this is almost unbelievable. Except we know it's Trump and his minions. Okay, except we know it's Trump and his minions. It's a darn shame. He's out here in Florida. Okay, while there's a shooting at a college that they need to get to. But he's out here just gallivanting all around the country. Isn't it something? I find it all so interesting. Anywho, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, with that all being said, let's go to some of these clips. Let's go to them talking about these hidden files. Okay, because I told you all about this last week about the hidden interviews. Remember, I told you all about the witness who gave 4 interviews. 3 of them were missing from the files, and there was only one there. Okay, so we're going to talk about that because now that's all over the news. Okay, so give me just a second to pull this up. Okay, here we go.
At least one witness for whom 3 interviews with the FBI in rapid succession in 2019 are missing. We can also confirm that that woman is the same person who in a 2025 FBI presentation is identified to have accused Donald Trump of assault when she was between 13 and 15 years old. One of the things in her accusation is that in addition to forcing her to perform oral, he also hit her in that same episode. We have now connected that woman to someone who was interviewed by the FBI 4 times in 2019. Of those 4 interview memoranda, which are listed in this index that I'm holding up right here, only one of them can be seen. And in that interview, the accusations against Trump are not present. At the most, she says that she had met Trump on one occasion without detailing it. And when asked how she understood that Epstein was a person who committed abuse against her, she showed FBI agents a picture that she had been sent by a friend. It was a picture that she was reluctant to share with FBI agents because there was somebody else in the photograph. It turned out to be, according to this interview memo, a well-known photograph of Epstein and Trump together. She said that she was reluctant to show them the full image, lest she incriminate someone that she feared could retaliate against her. There is at least one witness for whom 3 interviews with the FBI in rapid succession in 2019 are missing. We can also confirm that that woman is the same person who in a 2025 FBI presentation.
Sorry, beloveds, I did it again. I was multitasking. Okay, I was looking for my next clip. Okay, here we go.
But here's what we know at this point. I mean, as best as we can tell with the information we've been given, it does seem clear that a woman did accuse Donald Trump of criminal wrongdoing in connection with his longtime friend, the child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. And then she was interviewed by the FBI in 2019 about what she said happened to her when she was 13 or 14. And then the files from those interviews were numbered and they were logged and they were put into an index. And then they were not released to the public. And the Department of Justice's explanation for why they weren't released to the public keeps shifting. So no, those allegations cannot be publicly verified, certainly as long as the Trump government withholds the files containing them. It's entirely possible these files exonerate the president of any wrongdoing. But then if they did, why wouldn't this government want them released?
Exactly. They don't want them released because they know who's in there. Okay. And they know that a lot of those allegations are absolutely true, in my opinion. Okay. Now let's go to this last clip about this. And then we're going into the next segment.
Tonight, on what's not in the millions of Epstein files released by the DOJ, summaries and notes from 3 separate interviews the FBI conducted with a Jeffrey Epstein accuser who also made sex abuse allegations against President Trump in 2019. Materials withheld, according to an NBC News analysis, and information provided by a source familiar with the Epstein investigation.
The evidence is pointing to these documents are missing. It's a survivor who has made serious allegations of the president, and that needs to be investigated.
The Justice Department has said it produced all responsive documents, adding tonight it's reviewing files, and if any were improperly withheld, the department will publish it consistent with the law. Asked for comment, the White House pointed to the DOJ's previous statement that some documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Trump submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. The president has not been charged with wrongdoing related to Epstein, but the controversy has shadowed his administration, including at the State of the Union, which some Epstein abuse survivors attended, invited by Democrats.
We're here because we want accountability.
The files illustrating Epstein's web of connections to some of society's most powerful, physicist Stephen Hawking, flanked by women in bikinis, and new fallout today. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers announcing plans to resign from Harvard. Billionaire Bill Gates now apologizing to the Gates Foundation in a town hall this week, calling it a huge mistake to spend time with the convicted sex offender, according to a recording obtained by the Wall Street Journal, which says the Microsoft co-founder acknowledged that he had 2 affairs with Russian women that Epstein later discovered, but that they didn't involve Epstein's victims. Gates saying, "I did nothing illicit. I saw nothing illicit." The Gates Foundation telling NBC Gates spoke candidly, adding he took responsibility for his actions. None of these men has been charged with wrongdoing in connection with.
You know what? This is what gets on my last nerve. The lamestream media is basically handling the Epstein files and the people named in there with kitten gloves. They're very careful to always say, you know, they have there's nothing in the files that indicates they did anything wrong. Here's the thing, they're in the files. Okay, they're in the files. And I find it interesting that we're supposed to think all of these people whose names have been mentioned in the files in more ways than one. And I'm not talking about someone whose name was perhaps just mentioned in passing as if someone was speaking of that person in an email. No, I'm talking about people who directly had ties linking them to Epstein, whether through correspondences via the emails or otherwise. Now, with that being said, what I find interesting is that each one of these people who has been questioned about their associations with Epstein have all said, they didn't know about the allegations or the things that he was doing, and that they're so sorry to have ever had any sort of relationship with this person. And then they want to apologize. So let me get this straight. This man had a whole global trafficking network, a global trafficking network that stretched to lands far away. So we know that there were people who were coming to him as clients and who were requesting and paying for his services to have relations with these children of whom he was trafficking, right? So you mean to tell me, with that being said, we don't have confirmation of exactly who these people are, but these people that are named in the files that had associations with him in more ways than one, we're not supposed to think that they had anything, nefarious going on with him. We're not supposed to be looking at them like they might be the clients that we're looking for. Well, of course, they're the clients that we're looking for. Let me say allegedly. Who else would be the clients? Because how would all of these people be having so much to do and say with him, but none of them have done anything nefarious? None of them are clients or former clients. Then who is? And where are the correspondences with those real clients? How did he ever get in touch with them? How did he ever make deals? Something else that they're hiding in the files that they're not releasing? The bank records. Yeah, that's what they're hiding. The bank records, the financial records. That's what they're hiding. Because there's it. Follow the money. And then we'll know who all was doing what. That's when we'll know. Okay? If they want to keep redacting pictures and all of that and names. They're hiding that. Okay, please pay attention. These people are just going to keep lying and lying and lying. Okay? So now, with that all being said, let's talk about ICE. Because ICE has been accused of arresting and detaining people without good cause or reason, and then basically knowing that they have bogus charges that are not going to stick. So basically, once the case is over with or the judge has ordered the person's release, they're just releasing these people onto the streets without giving them their identification back, their work permits, passports, or whatever, their money, their cell phones, just putting these people out there. And then in one case, there was a person saying that they basically said they couldn't find his identification, like somehow the dog ate it or it got lost. Okay? And then when the judge said they were going to be held in contempt, all of a sudden, now it's found. Okay, so let's talk about some of this. And then, the fact that they act as though they can't find these people's belongings or refuse to give it to them, that's just them trying to be defiant and showing their disdain for the judge's orders, in my opinion. I mean, they have told such blatant lies. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Okay, so just in, Judge Tostrad has found the Trump administration in civil contempt for transferring an ICE detainee to Texas in violation of his order, and then releasing him without his belongings in El Paso. You see the kind of things they do just to be low down and dirty. Now, he has ordered the administration to refund the $568 it cost for the man to get a plane ticket home. Why would they take somebody all the way out of town and then drop them off, knowing that the charges aren't going to stick anyway? Well, this is what they do. And a bunch of lawlessness. Okay, now here's another phenomenon I've seen a lot lately. ICE detains someone. The person sues, says their detention is illegal. DOJ says we have no counsel argument. Judge orders release. Okay. And then here you see it, respondents do not have an opposition argument to present. Now, why wouldn't they have an opposition argument to present, pray tell? Well, because they never had any validity to the charges in the first place, and they knew it. They knew that it was frivolous or bogus. They knew it. They knew that it was just trumped up. But they're doing these things again to inconvenience people, just to be nasty and mean-spirited. Because you see, some of these people get locked up, and they may not, by the time they get out, they may have lost their jobs. Or they get out and they keep their work permits. So how are you going to work? And like I told you all about a week ago, it could take about 6 months for you to get the work permit back. And then you have to pay hundreds of dollars to even get it. So this is all things they do just to be so low down and dirty. And then they lied about one man. This man was 4 years old at the time of what they claimed. Now, sloppiness. The Trump administration claimed that a man detained by ICE had a criminal conviction for marijuana possession in 2009. The judge pointed out that the man was 4 years old at the time. 4 years old at the time. Now, this person, Kyle Chaney, is calling it sloppy. No, it isn't sloppy because, well, I guess you could say it's sloppy as in they didn't realize what they were doing, but they purposely are lying on these people. They got sloppy with their lie right here, and that's why they got caught, because the judge clearly saw it, said the petitioner was 4 years old in 2009. So isn't this all crazy? Just out here lying on people and clearly making up stuff. It is all so sad. Now, with that being said, let's also go to what the people had to say about that nefarious State of the Union address, because they went around asking different citizens what they thought about it. I may have showed you all a few clips yesterday, but we're going to get more into it now. Because people are not happy with Trump and his administration. And I mean, and we know that people like us are not happy, but I'm talking about some of his own people who voted for him. Okay, like I told you, a lot of them now have buyer's remorse. First, let's go to what Hakeem Jeffries had to say. Okay, here we go.
We're on the backside of the State of the Union address. It did nothing to help out Donald Trump's case to the American people. He's falling apart. His poll numbers are an extinction level event. It's over for these extremists. They've lost 14 months consecutively of meaningful elections. Literally every single election that has been held since Donald Trump's first month in office in January of 2025 has been won by Democrats. And so I know people are struggling to find a reason to pierce the fact that the American people have clearly decided it's time to throw the MAGA extremists overboard and elect Democrats. But we're going to stay the course. We're going to be disciplined and focused as we were yesterday. We're going to continue to win the day and win the week and win the month, win the hearts and minds of the American people, win the year, and then win back the House. We're on the back.
Yeah, we'll see about all of that. You know, Trump and his administration, they're going to do everything they can to try and cheat during the midterms. I think they're still going to lose.
And Trump touted the economy and his immigration policies in a record-long State of the Union address, and he'll soon take those messages on the road.
The White House is hoping President Trump can convince Americans to stay the course, as Democrats today slammed the speech for being too partisan, divisive, and out of touch with people's economic hardships. To recap the big night and to fact-check the president's remarks, we start with our White House correspondent, Liz Landers.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
President Trump, in a marathon address, praised his second-term agenda as a transformation for America.
It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
and promised in many ways to stay the course, even as his approval ratings have plummeted.
The state of our union is strong.
The longest State of the Union ever given, Mr. Trump spoke for an hour, 48 minutes. In front of likely his largest TV audience before the midterms, the president's speech was an opportunity for a much-needed reset. Our latest PBS-NPR Marist poll shows 6 in 10 Americans say the country is in a worse place than a year ago. Addressing one of voters' greatest concerns right away, Trump put affordability front and center.
Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve.
He rattled off positive economic data on inflation, gas prices, mortgage rates, and the soaring stock market. And he put blame on Democrats.
Suddenly used the word affordability. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them.
One policy promise the president made last night, Trump said he would offer Americans a new type of retirement account that would resemble plans offered to federal workers, complete with matching government contributions.
We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year, as we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market.
4 Supreme Court justices were seated in the front row.
It just came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
Face to face with the president just days after the court handed him his term's biggest legal defeat on tariffs. Trump promised to soldier on with the cornerstone of his economic agenda.
Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved.
On foreign policy, the president addressed rising tensions with Iran ahead of talks expected in Geneva tomorrow.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
That moment drawing some of the biggest bipartisan applause of the night, as did some of the president's high-profile guests.
Here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team.
Welcoming the team into the chamber, Mr. Trump promised to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the country's highest civilian honor, to Team USA goalie Connor Hellebuck. And there were more awards and made-for-TV moments, presenting 2 Congressional Medals of Honor to service members, as well as bestowing Purple Hearts to D.C. National Guardsman Andrew Wolf and posthumously to fellow Guard member Sarah Beckstrom. Both were shot in D.C. last year. The speech was also marked by protests from Democrats. On Jeffrey Epstein, some members wore redacted pins calling for the Justice Department to release more of the files. And a number of the late sex offender's own victims were guests of the Democrats in the chamber. The protests, mostly silent, but not all. The greatest contrast of the night, and possibly the most heated, came when the president defended his immigration crackdown.
The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Mr. Trump chastised Democrats while Republicans stood and applauded for more than a minute.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Democrats shouted back.
The removal of criminal aliens.
About the shooting deaths of 2 American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, in Minneapolis last month. And notably, there were boycotts. More than 24 fewer Democrats were in the chamber. Many of them were at a counter-protest outside the Capitol.
In November, are you ready to finish the job? In November, are you ready to throw the bums out?
And the official Democratic response?
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions.
New Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger focused where the president also focused, addressing Americans' affordability concerns.
Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? We all know the answer is no.
Reaction today fell along partisan political lines.
I think that we've got a lot of momentum here, but the president said this last night. We inherited a mess. Our ask to the American people is let us continue to fix this mess.
So Donald Trump is lying, and the American people can either believe what Donald Trump says, or they can believe the monthly bills, but they cannot believe both.
Presidents often hit the road after the speech to sell their policies directly to the American people. President Trump will push his economic message in Texas at the end of this week, Amna, ahead of that state's primary elections on Tuesday.
Liz, as you just reported there, the president talked a lot about the strength of the economy. Two claims he made I want to ask you about. One about the price of gas, and the other that getting rid of fraud would enable the U.S. to have a balanced budget, as he put it, overnight. What can you tell us about those?
Let's start with the second part about balancing the budget. So that's implausible. We crunched some numbers. We looked at the math here. The federal deficit in 2025 was $1.8 trillion. The 2024 estimate of fraud in the U.S. Government Accountability Office had a range between $233 to $521 billion. That's a lot of fraud. But even if you eliminated all of the government fraud, the federal deficit would still only be reduced by a third there. And then on that second point of gas prices, we looked at gas prices all across the country. The president said that they are below $2.30 in most states. That is not true. Gas prices have fallen as he's been in office. Since he was inaugurated last year, the price of gas was around $3.11 a gallon. Now it's down to $2.97.
Okay, so we know all Trump is doing is lying and exaggerating everything, okay? But did you all know that now, I find it interesting, he's talking about they're talking about cutting off the Medicaid for Minnesota for this month or something like that. Hold on, let's get into this, because just like Tim Walz said, he's doing this to punish the blue states. Okay, he's trying to talk about some sort of fraud in all of this. Please pay attention. Okay, he's trying to use that fraud they keep talking about as an excuse. Now, but first off, let's get into this this glyphosate order.
Do you think President Trump's executive order promoting the production of glyphosate, which you yourself have said likely causes cancer, will put American families' health at risk?
Senator Markey, you and I both know that these issues around agriculture and health are extremely complex and are affecting farmers, consumers, food producers, food accessibility. My understanding of the executive order is that the thrust of this has to do with national security and decreased resilience and reliance on foreign countries for tools that farmers are currently using right now.
But these are these are cancer-inducing chemicals. According to your own statements.
We must, as a country, move away from using toxic inputs in our food supply, and we must study these chemicals more to understand their effects. I am very gravely concerned about the health impacts of these chemicals.
I understand that. Doctor, I'm just trying to help you to agree with yourself. You've already said it in the past, but Trump is contradicting you.
Our food system is dependent currently on these chemicals. There is a good faith movement towards moving our food system towards regenerative agriculture and precision application of pesticides. I believe in good faith that is happening.
She just does not want to give a straight answer. People like that get on my nerves. But then not when he told her he's trying to help her to agree with herself. Okay, now let's go to J.D. Vance when he announces a temporary halt of Medicaid funds to Minnesota and tries to make it make sense. Okay, please pay attention.
Announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure.
Tonight, hundreds of millions in Medicaid money on hold to our state as part of an aggressive crackdown on fraud from the White House. The vice president said today it's a wake-up call for state leaders that they need to properly vet providers to make sure they're legitimate. Governor Walz says it's part of a campaign of retribution. Joe McCoy joins us now with details. Joe?
Julie, when J.D. Vance was asked today if withholding this Medicaid funding is legal, the vice president said he is quite confident that it is. Vance says that the providers have already been paid by the state of Minnesota and that what is being stopped are the reimbursement payments from the federal government. In a massive step to pressure Governor Walz and Minnesota leadership to get a handle on the widespread Medicaid fraud across our state,
This is disgraceful.
Vice President J.D. Vance announcing the Trump administration will temporarily pause $258 million in Medicaid funding to Minnesota.
All we need the governor and the administration in Minnesota to do is something quite simple, which is to show that before you give Medicaid funds to somebody, you're taking seriously whether they provided the services that they say that they're providing.
This is not a problem with the people of Minnesota. It's a problem with the leadership of Minnesota.
Dr. Mehmet Oz, who is the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, says the government completed an audit that was sent to Governor Walz.
Governor Walz has 60 days, sir, to respond to our letter.
A state commission third-party report released earlier this month deemed 14 Medicaid services as high risk for fraud, with 90% of Minnesota's autism services flagged as potentially fraudulent.
We will give them the money, but we're going to hold it and only release it after they propose and act on a comprehensive corrective action plan to solve the problem.
Governor Walz responding on X saying, quote, "This has nothing to do with fraud. Trump is weaponizing the entirety of the federal government to punish blue states like Minnesota. These cuts will be devastating for veterans, families with young kids, folks with disabilities, and working people across our state." The Minnesota Department of Human Services, which oversees state Medicaid programs, says since the fall of 2024, the department has implemented new processes and reforms to detect and prevent Medicaid fraud. They went on to say that deferring this money will, quote, significantly harm the state's healthcare infrastructure and the 1.2 million Minnesotans who depend on Medicaid. Julie.
All right.
Administration just announced that for the next 6 months, they are blocking all new enrollments for durable medical equipment through Medicare and Medicaid. And you don't need to be plugged into the disability community to know how insane this directive is, because if nothing else, new people become disabled in this country every single day. And those newly disabled people are now going to be without the medical equipment that they need. And while this is infuriating and genuinely disgusting, we're not at all surprised, because for the last year, we have been talking about how the Trump administration's racism is going to hurt disabled people. And here it's starting. The Trump administration just
You know, and that's really a shame. And at the end of the day, they want to get rid of these programs altogether, both Medicaid and Medicare. But the fact that they're so upset with Tim Walz, or shall I say not they, but the fact that Trump hates Tim Walz so much that he's willing to, to let people that are disabled, people who need their Medicaid, they need their medicines, they need their medical equipment, all of these things, he's willing to let them suffer just so he can get vengeance on political enemies. Okay, and then he had the nerve to talk about the Democrats acting as though they're putting immigrants first. But what is he doing? Okay, he's putting that other land far away that y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, he's putting them first, because he darn sure isn't putting America first, and not even none of his own citizens. Okay, so let's continue.
State of the Union address?
Parts of it, yes.
What was your reaction?
It was very strong performance. I thought that was very polarizing between the Democrats and Republicans.
What really upset me the most was the way Congress, and especially Mike Johnson, stood up and clapped behind him when he knew that he was blatantly lying.
What's something that you were hoping President Trump would address that he didn't?
Epstein files, obviously.
Screaming at a president, I mean, that's ridiculous. That is so... that they should have removed them, but in a way, I'm glad that they left them sitting there screaming like lunatics.
The things I heard were not truthful about the economy and all the great things that are supposedly happening, and I think the opposite is more the case.
I did not watch a State of the Union address. Usually every year I do. I wasn't looking forward to hearing, unfortunately, what President Trump had to say.
I didn't really have too much of a reaction because my expectations were already that it's so low. That it would all just be a bunch of repeated falsehoods.
Did you watch the State of the Union address?
Parts of it, yes.
lot of lies. I thought that it made the country even more divided. It was nothing but anger and anger messaging, which is not what we need right now.
A little bit too much exaggeration on things of the reality of what we're actually going through and living through and going through on a day-to-day basis.
A lot of people are basically 1 to 2 checks away from being homeless or being unsheltered. So it's like you're fighting and arguing with people when the tariffs were free. Like, I understand where your mentality was in the beginning, but now we're suffering for pride and ego.
The reality is what we live every single day, going to work, the grocery stores, cost of living. So the reality is might be slightly different from his projected reality that he'd like us to believe. So
I didn't watch it because I got to go to work. I can't listen to the longest speech ever in the world of history, right?
I hear that. He said he can't listen to the longest speech ever in the world of history. I am so done. Okay, now that was funny, but let's continue.
In books, it is the store in Minneapolis owned by Greg Ketter and his wife, Lisa. Greg Ketter became virally famous after his reaction to the killing of Alex Preddy, was seen all around the world because it was so raw, so emotional, and just so true to what he was feeling in that moment. He invited us here to gather with a group of Minnesotans to watch the State of the Union and get their reactions in real time. It was extraordinary. You had said before you were angry, you had hoped that the president would say something to make you feel more hopeful or spoken to. I do not get the sense that that happened tonight.
Not at all.
Is that going to make you continue your level of political activism like what we saw on the street exactly 1 month ago today when Alex Preddy was killed?
I am still angry, and I'll continue doing whatever it takes to get rid of this regime. We're in danger. This is the worst danger the U.S. has ever been in, I believe. And we have to vote our way out of it.
What was it like for you to hear him talk about Somali pirates and importing a culture that is your own in such a derogatory way?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm not surprised by it. I may be a little disappointed, but with the lack of just unprecedented words that come out of his mouth, and he didn't back up any sort of facts whatsoever behind any of his words. You can just hear him just spewing the hatred, but no sort of facts behind it.
The reaction I heard from you, perhaps most strongly as your neighbor sitting here watching the speech with you, was when President Trump talked about political violence. And you took great umbrage at his remarks about political violence. Why?
Because he's taking children, he's taking people, and he's causing the political violence. I have a friend who's had their husband taken away from her, 2 little kids, right? Those little kids are going to remember that. They're not that young.
This bothered you, this talk about religion by the president tonight?
Well, yes. I don't think that any of these things that he's done have any Christian values to them. I mean, he's
particularly here in Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Yes, I mean, we've had two innocent people murdered. We've had children taken away. People treated like they're less than animals. And the other thing is, this country began with freedom of religion. Christianity is not the only religion in this country.
Now, you're the pastor. I probably should have asked you about what you thought about religion. Just real quick, Sergio.
Yes.
Did that bother you as much as well?
It did, because what happened in Minneapolis has nothing to do with being a Christian. Latino churches were down 80% in attendance. So if he was hurting Christianity here in Minneapolis.
This dream haven.
Right, and I find it interesting that the devil himself is trying to tell people about religion, honey. Okay, let's go to this next clip. Likes up, right? DJ Big Six said Christian values. Exactly. Does Trump even know about such a thing?
The grade, what would you give?
I'd say 70.
Do you feel like you have been getting what you voted for?
Not really, but as many problems there are in this country, it takes a long time.
On immigration, Diane Hunt said what happened in Minnesota went too far.
I'd like to see them stick with what they originally said they were going to do and just go after the ones that were illegal and had records.
I like closing of the borders, but I don't like ICE doing things that they shouldn't do. I don't like seeing an innocent person get treated bad, I don't like to see somebody that's here illegally getting treated bad. Just send them back. Don't abuse them or shoot them or split them up from the kids.
I was all for like the administration policy and then like ICE, but then whenever I saw the episode happen in Minnesota, it totally changed my perspective on how they came and killed an innocent woman. People are scared. Innocent people are scared, and they shouldn't be. If they're innocent and they're citizens, it's harassment to me.
Anytime you get to the enforcement part of the law, it can get ugly.
If you were to give the president a grade, what would you give him?
I would give him a B+ to A to an A. As far as his policies, I don't have a problem with them. To me, they seem to be working. I mean, we needed a change.
If you could give a grade.
And see, this is how you know that Trump supporters, the people who voted for Trump, are just so nonsensical and not really that good if with using critical thinking skills, if at all, because they thought that he was actually going to do what he said. They literally believed that he was going to do exactly what he said. Please. How do they not know how much of a liar this man is? Okay, now let's go to this Iran, these nuclear missiles reported by CNN. I'm sorry, CBS.
Iran's nuclear program may be the focus of today's meetings, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it goes beyond that.
Iran possesses a very large number of ballistic missiles, particularly short-range ballistic missiles that threaten the United States and our bases in the region.
Last June, during the 12-day war with Iran, Israeli residents experienced firsthand Iran's capabilities. A CBS News camera captured the moment missiles penetrated Israel's vaunted Iron Dome air defense system and U.S. interceptors, striking residential neighborhoods. This is just a hint of the aftermath. These buildings bore the brunt of it, but you really have to take a 360 look. Between the shrapnel and the pressure of the blast, the damage is everywhere. And this is in the heart of Tel Aviv, one of Israel's most populated cities. Adi Gaffney lives in an adjacent apartment block. That must have been terrifying.
It was insane. It really was insane, and I cannot explain it with words enough. And at some point, we just had heard and felt like a boom.
U.S. forces were given advance warning of the Iranian missile attack on America's largest base in the Middle East last summer, but even then had to respond with the single biggest deployment of Patriot missiles in U.S. history, the Pentagon said.
Wow, isn't that something? Okay. So they're saying that Iran's minister is saying that he hopes a deal can be reached. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this report by MS Now, where they say Trump's labor secretary pick is involved in a nefarious scandal. Okay, this administration has the most drama of any that I believe we've all ever heard of. Okay, let's get into it.
No, can't do that. Trump's labor secretary is Lori Chavez DeRemer. And if they pick Lori Chavez DeRemer as the designated survivor, then people will Google Lori Chavez DeRemer, and this is what they will find. Headline: Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer under investigation for, quote, inappropriate relationship with employee. These are reports that started with a complaint that was reportedly filed with the Inspector General of the Labor Department. Trump Labor Secretary, quote, accused of drinking in her office during the workday and committing travel fraud by having her chief of staff and deputy chief of staff, both of whom are now on leave, quote, make up official trips to destinations where Chavez DeRemer can spend time with family or friends on the taxpayer's dime. Headline: Trump's married labor boss accused of booze-filled fling with staffer. Headline: Chavez DeRemer's security staffer placed on leave amid scandal investigation. The labor secretary has been accused of engaging in a romantic relationship with said security staffer. Headline, Lori Chavez DeRemer reportedly under investigation for misusing funds. Headline, Trump Labor Secretary accused of taking staff to a strip club on an official trip. That's a real headline. I mean, now amid everything else, you are probably a nice person, an empathetic person. Perhaps you're not just agog by looking at those headlines about that scandal. Perhaps you are thinking, oh, wow, this must be really hard on her family. Headline, husband of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer accused of sexually assaulting 2 staffers. Headline, Labor Secretary's husband barred from Labor Department headquarters amid staffers' sexual assault allegations. Headline, DC police search Labor Secretary's office in sexual assault investigation. The Metropolitan Police Department searched Lori Chavez DeRemer's office as it looks into allegations against her husband. Since then, we've had further news that the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Washington has decided that there won't be any criminal charges brought against the Labor Secretary's husband for the alleged sexual assaults inside the Labor Department's headquarters building. But does that mean they're going to let him back in? I don't know.
Trump says in his State of the Union address this week, which is like a king's speech, but with a suit and no crown, though Donny Boy probably wouldn't mind a crown, he says, quote, "Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before," end quote. First of all, it's back. Where did it go? And second of all, bigger, better, blah, 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 blah. Why does this sound like a commercial for a new season of some TV show or a new product? In 2026, we're back and we're bigger and better than ever, folks. Trump talked about some of his perceived successes during his first year in office.
Okay, so that was a little funny. Okay, now let's go to this PBS report about the DOJ withholding the Epstein files on Trump. After that, we're going to get into this whole thing with 50 Cent is still trolling. Okay, he just doesn't learn his lesson. He's still up to it.
Investigation reveals the Justice Department withheld portions of the Jeffrey Epstein files that contain allegations involving President Trump, including material tied to claims that Mr. Trump sexually abused a minor and that some pages mentioning him were removed from the public record. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee called that out today, saying the DOJ's withholding of information could amount to a crime. For more on that and the surrounding fallout, we're joined now by Julie K. Brown, investigative reporter for the Miami Herald, whose reporting helped expose much of the Epstein network. Julie, welcome back to the program. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
I want to start with this NPR reporting that the Justice Department withheld some Epstein files related to allegations that President Trump sexually abused a minor, which we should say the White House denies. What stands out to you about it?
Well, I think what stands out is that we don't have the reports, even though we know they exist. This stems from an interview that they conducted that came out of a tip to the FBI about this woman who has said that when she was 13, that she was sexually assaulted by Donald Trump. Now, one of her interviews is contained in the Epstein files, although it is heavily redacted, so it's hard to know exactly what she told the FBI. But as a result of that, we were able to see some of the report numbers and the Bates stamps on it. And an independent journalist, actually named Roger Sollenberger, was the person that found out that it compared that number to the documents that the Southern District of New York prosecutors gave to Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers as part of her criminal case.
You broke this story 8 years ago with your investigative reporting. With the benefit of time and hindsight, what do you see more clearly now about how power insulated Jeffrey Epstein and how much of that protective structure still exists?
Well, I think it shows that it absolutely does exist. I mean, the fact that we aren't getting the full picture, that these files are so heavily redacted, that there are names of men in these files that have been redacted, yet some of these victims' names have not been redacted from the files. It shows that this case is still an example of how there are two systems of justice in this country, one for people who have money and power and one for people who don't.
Well, what key questions remain unanswered, and where do you think the public and the media might be misunderstanding or oversimplifying what these documents can and can't do?
Well, I think that, because I've been on this case for so long, I probably look at it a different way. And I look at it from the point of view that the Justice Department has never really done their job on this, that the FBI and the Justice Department never took these victims seriously, that they had a preference, I guess, for letting this case just die. And it would have died if it wasn't for these victims now who have mobilized and become a force for justice and for change. And it's because of them that we're still talking about this case, and they're still fighting for the truth here. And, I don't know how much longer the government's going to be able to sit on these files or cover up who is in them.
We'll say more about that because we've seen some private sector fallout in this country, resignations, some reputational fallout, but comparatively little government accountability. Meantime, overseas in the UK, there's been a more direct institutional reckoning. What do you think accounts for that? What explains it?
Well, I think that right now in our country, we really aren't holding people in authority accountable at all. I mean, we're seeing it with what's happening with our government to some degree, with some of the people who work for our government, supposedly working for us, who are making money, through their positions in government instead of, using their positions for the public and for a public good. And I think if you don't have the kind of government that really wants to work for the people, this is the kind of thing that happens. I can't explain why European.
Okay, I'm going to move on from her. She's going to be a chatty patty, but listen, okay, the bottom line is the reason none of the DOJs have done anything about it is because so many people are involved. So many of these politicians, okay, from the bottom up are involved. And the people who were supposed to be or would be investigating it were likely involved themselves, many of them. Okay. So because they've said that in some cases there were FBI agents, CIA agents, all involved. Okay, so all realms of government. Okay, and so allegedly. Now, with that all being said, I forgot to show you all this clip of this man and his wife or lover, whomever. They were very serious Trump supporters, and now, well, guess what happened to her? She was supposedly kidnapped by ICE during her annual check-in. And so now they too have buyer's remorse. Let's get into it.
For this, but I definitely voted Republican.
A desperate plea to President Trump from a South Florida man fearing his life partner could be deported to Cuba at any moment.
Please get her home. Please, she does not deserve this. She's the sweetest person and she prayed for you.
His life partner of nearly 20 years, Yamile Alcantu, ICE detained her back in June.
8 months that she's been taken. I call it kidnapped because it basically is.
He says it happened during what they thought was just another immigration check-in.
Cuban's not going to get deported, so don't worry about it.
Both were staunch supporters of President Trump.
When you said I didn't vote for this, what did you think you had voted for?
I really thought this was just going to be something organized, but it's obviously not. They just blanket everybody.
There are going to be people who say, you voted for this.
Yeah, I've heard that from people. I'm sorry. I didn't know that this was going to happen. This is about human beings. It's not about left or right. It's about right and wrong. I didn't vote for this, but I definitely voted Republican.
A desperate plea to President Trump from a South Florida man fearing his life partner could be deported to Cuba at any moment.
Do y'all feel bad for him or what? Do you all feel bad for the poor man? Huh? What do you all say? RG Titan said no. Listen, I cannot feel sorry for people who voted for Trump and then these things happen. Because how does that make any sense? What were you thinking? Okay, she knew and he knew that she was an immigrant, but they thought she would be safe. Did you hear what he said? He said they thought the Cubans wouldn't be deported. Vince I.M. said there are no refunds, beloved ad. Okay. Please. Thank you, Goodness Rated Bo, but my birthday's tomorrow, beloved. It's tomorrow, but thank you. Yeah, so that's all crazy, honey. But yeah, I can't shed a tear for him because this is what you paid for. Now, with that all being said, let's get into this BS with King, 50 Cent, and T.I. Okay, King, 50 Cent, and T.I. because 50 Cent, first of all, he deleted the post that he put up of Tiny. And like that was the end of it. But then in the middle of the night, he comes back and puts up another post of Tiny, okay, and says he changed his mind. So again, this man is so petty for his big age. He really needs to sit down somewhere, okay? But let's get into it because we got time today. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And also, King hit back at him. Here we go.
Harris does not care if 50 Cent is done. He's still going. This time, he's asking 50 Cent's business partners if they want to work with someone who made fun of a teenager with autism. And here's the incident that King Harris is referring to. So back in June of 2016, 50 Cent was in the Cincinnati airport. And while interacting with a teenage employee, he started to make fun of the teenager and imply that the teenager was under the influence. 50 Cent then decided to post a video of the interaction with that teen online, who was not under the influence of anything at all, but in fact had autism and suffered from hearing loss. Once the video went viral and the teenager's family got a hold of it, they publicly came out and said that he was being bullied and misrepresented by 50 Cent. 50 Cent then began to get backlash and quickly deleted the video and posted an apology saying that he was truly sorry, but the teenager's family still filed a lawsuit in which them and 50 Cent settled in 2017 outside of court. But I guess when King Harris said he wasn't done, he meant it. He's still on 50 Cent's head top.
Well, you know, that's too bad for 50 because what you don't get to do is start some BS with somebody and then determine when they let it go. Okay, because you go low, some people take it all the way to hell, and that looks like that's what King's doing. Please pay attention.
You blink, you gonna miss some of this drama because it's happening so fast. King Harris and 50 Cent are still going at it. Last night, 50 Cent posted this picture in response to King Harris telling him to go dig up his dead mama and post a picture of her after 50 Cent posted a picture of Tiny, King Harris's mom. And now King Harris has posted this video of 50 Cent in court in the early 2000s after he admitted to trampling and beating women at one of his concerts. And King Harris captioned the video, "All you do is apply pressure to females."
Miss Jackson, 29-year-old who admitted to trampling and beating 3 women at a concert.
He attacked women. Women. We were just there to see a concert. We were not there to get beat up. We were not there to get hit.
Go.
In the face after jumping into the crowd in search of someone who threw a water bottle at him during a surprise concert at this club in May of 2004.
According to reports about this 2004 incident, 50 Cent was charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor assault and 1 count of reckless endangerment. However, the reports show that 50 Cent only pled guilty to 1 count of misdemeanor disorderly conduct, as a part of a plea deal where he was also given probation. He had to pay a fine and do some community service. But King Harris has made it clear that this is just the beginning and he's only just getting started.
Okay, and let's also not forget the time that they say that 50 Cent allegedly threw a microphone into the audience because he was mad because the mic cut off or it wasn't working properly and hit this woman in the face and she had to get stitches. Okay, and she sued as well, supposedly. So 50 Cent is just an idiot, okay? He has all this smoke for women. So you sitting there fighting women? Yeah, I absolutely believe that he was beating up his baby mom, his first one, and also Daphne Joy. Okay. I was so definitely joy because I didn't even know anything about all this. I'm glad King is digging it all up. I'm glad he's ripping up all his dirt. Okay? Yeah, definitely sounds like he has anger issues.
Cent keeps posting and deleting, posting and deleting, posting and deleting. He's the real can't stop, won't stop. He posted this picture of Tiny, a very unflattering picture last night, okay, while everybody was sleeping. He deleted it. But you might be asking, but what is he saying about Tiny? You don't have to say much when you post a picture like this, okay? Very unflattering, and it's not okay. And then right after he posted this stupid ass nigga award, he said goes to old rappers still trying to battle rap. Chat GPT told me that. I don't need to rap. You need me to rap. LOL, get the fuck off my page. Now, I understand where 50 Cent is coming from because at the end of the day, he has a whole bunch of shows that he's working on. He really don't have to do all of this, right? But if you're going to keep throwing stones at the rappers, 50 Cent, they're going to want to rap, okay? Now, normally when somebody deletes all the fucked up stuff that they said on their page, they usually move on from the situation. They don't, backpedal. But knowing 50 Cent, there's more to come.
Papa was popping. This is DJ Trip checking in. And while you were sleeping, 50 Cent, prior to you going to sleep, claimed to let things go with him and T.I. But in the middle of the night, he decided to post this photo of Tiny. Well, King got time today because apparently he up just like 50 Cent up. So King decided to match energies and post this picture of 50 Cent and his deceased mother. Unlike many of your favorite celebrities who pretend to be so busy, they absolutely just don't know what's going on in the comment section. I read my comment section, and a lot of you were questioning why did I put Diddy in the video. Well, what a lot of people don't know is that allegedly Jane Doe from the Diddy trial is 50 Cent's baby mother. Allegedly, Diddy was paying the rent of 50 Cent baby mother and his son up until and during that trial. So there are a lot of subliminals going on that the public is unaware of, but that's the reason why Diddy has been included in this. And the real reason that allegedly I'm alleging, or my opinion, is that 50 Cent really did the Netflix documentary, is that for years, Diddy had been dog walking his baby mother. He felt a way about it. So for those of you who missed the subliminal of why T.I. said you tender D.A., he's calling him tender because really all of this drama is about 50 Cent not knowing how to deal with his emotions when it came to yet another non-black woman that he loved leaving him on the roadside and leaving him for Diddy, which added insult to injury. So again, all y'all who keep getting fooled by this fake so busy 50 Cent, oh, he don't want no parts of this 50 Cent. This is his MO. This is what he does.
Okay, I absolutely agree. No lies detected. Okay, so now with that all being said, hold on. Says Queen, look what you've done after dumping your ex allegedly. Don't blame it on me. That had absolutely nothing to do with 50 and his shenanigans. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about Benzino, honey, because Benzino supposedly called Tasha K yesterday and told Tasha K that Diamond, the Atlanta rapper from Crime Mob, hit him with a car. And then he proceeded to post a picture of himself stretched out in the hospital with a brace on his neck. Hold on, let me produce the picture because y'all know Benzino doesn't even have a neck. So I don't even know how they got the brace on, but clearly they did. Okay, please pay attention. Now, I find it also interesting because after all of this came out, then Diamond did a live video and she had a lot to say. And then she brought Benzino's ex and baby mom, Althea, aboard. Okay, so since we're being messy, hold on. Let me just pull this clip up. Okay. First, let me put his picture on the screen. This is him. He said they hit him with the car, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, now I'm going to go to the video of Diamond from her live.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Come on into this live. Who is it? Can you give us 1 second, beautiful? 1 second. Can you just tell her for a second, Althea? Shit is funny as fuck. We need to talk about Benzino no neck ass real quick. Althea? Yeah. Okay. First of all, Benzino, if I would have hit you with my car, a bitch would be in jail right now. So let's clear that first. I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna give Althea the floor. Nobody hit you with a motherfucking car, okay? So why you get to the hospital with that fake ass neck brace on, calling Tasha K? I don't know. It's beneath me. I can't even begin to understand why. But I'm a friend. Anybody that know me know that I am a down ass fucking friend. So there has been some things going on between Althea and Benzino for quite some time. Everybody knows that. I took my friend to the bus stop to where her son was getting off the bus to do a wellness check on her son. At first, she had no idea where her son was because Benzino decided to not disclose information of where he lived or where her son was going to school at. We found that information out. We followed the proper protocol of the law. She has her paperwork. We called the police. We let the police know, hey, we are going to be here at this bus stop to do a wellness check on her child. I am the primary custodian guardian, if I'm saying that correctly. Show paperwork upon arrival to the location. The reason why she was doing a wellness check, she can go into that or not if she wants. That's on her. Okay. I sat in the car with my 1-year-old in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? As she walked to go check on her child, give him a hug, X, Y, and Z. And I think at some point, bring him back to the car to where we were because the police were by the car. Then I hear, well, I'm gonna say I hear. By this time, she has made it inside of the car and she's talking to him, checking on him. And at this point, I'm in the driver's seat. My baby's over here in the back seat. He comes to the car running. You stupid bitch, going crazy. Police out there and everything now, right? Comes to the fucking car. My baby, I think my window is half cracked. So my car is already in drive because at this point we finna probably pull around the corner, whatever the case. He's swinging. I don't know what he's trying to do. If he's trying to open my car door from the bitch, I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. All I know is my car is already in drive and you're trying to put your hand inside of the window to where my baby is. So a bitch drove the fuck off. Now, if you was holding on to my car and you happen to skin your knee or whatever the fuck happened, I don't know. But we had.
Sorry, beloveds, I did not mean to do that. I'm deleting pictures that I have uploaded that I've shown you all earlier this week. Let's continue.
Have body cam footage that we can access. We have footage from the condos, all the condos that were surrounding the area that can show that nigga nobody hit you with a motherfucking car. Now, again, I'm just being here for a friend. I am a good friend. Althea has been a good friend to me as well. I wasn't even in here taking sides. But what you not finna do is go to the motherfucking blog sites and lie and say a bitch hit you with a car. If I hit you and struck you with a fucking car, my nigga, I would be in jail right now. So either, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're trying to get back on Love and Hip Hop. I don't know what the fuck is going on. All I know is people blowing my fucking phone up, sending me a picture with your no-neck ass laying with a fucking brace on your neck, talking about I struck you with my new car. And then how you even know my car new? Like, niggas is weird as fuck. So I came on here to clear my name up because, bitch, nobody hit you with no motherfucking car. You're weird as fuck. That ain't got shit to do with me. I was bringing my friend to come check on her son and do a wellness check on her son. Yes, she has primary custody. She has paperwork to prove that. That's why when we got to the scene, she called the police, told them, I'm checking on my son, provided paperwork, X, Y, and Z. Now, all of a sudden, you in the hospital with a brace on your neck. When the doctor records come back, I'm sure it's going to show that, nigga, you did not get hit by a fucking car. And now I'm finna call my lawyer that's heavily on retainer, just in case this shit go left, because what you not finna do is try to play these lame ass games with me. Althea, do you want to say something real quick? Thee. Althea, do you want to address the people? And I'm sorry I didn't clean up my house because I didn't expect company today. But I just basically told them what happened and that you do have primary custody.
I have primary custody, okay? I have primary custody, but he wants to keep him away from his mother because he doesn't want to go to jail for not paying child support.
End of story.
End of story.
End of story.
End of story. End of story. And as being a mother who keeps allowing him to be in his life, this man wanted to get hit by a car.
That's a good mother.
This man wanted to get hit by a car. He wants to go to the hospital and call Tasha K with a neck brace on. Okay? Only somebody psychotic would do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Only somebody crazy would do all of that. I don't even be on the blogs, but I stay in the blogs behind his fucking dumb ass.
So that's it, folks.
Like, this is crazy.
Powder. He definitely on powder.
Like,
that's the first thing you do is call, like, imagine being laid up with a fake ass.
So guess what? Because he did all of that, he now has Child Protective Services involved. Because he goes to that extreme. That he got.
And then guess what? They will see, like I told
them. Like, this is crazy.
Once they see the body cam footage from the officers that were on scene, and once I have my lawyer to get all the footage from all the.
I hate when people want to act like as if I'm the problem. I want to be in blogs. I ain't got to be in no blogs. I ain't got to be in nothing. I ain't got to be on TV. I ain't got.
Okay, well, she's clearly living, but here's the thing. Benzino came out with his own version of the events, and let's go to it, because he called his good friend Tasha K and had her to allow him to come on and listen. Tasha K looked like she was so disinterested, like she was so just like over it, okay? And then she had the nerve to crack up laughing at the end after he left. It was hilarious. Okay, I'm going to put an overlay on here, but I want you all to see Tasha's face. Look at the look on her face that tells it all. She's like, dude, okay? So with that all being said, I want you all to hear his version of the events, because she says that she's the custodial guardian. He says the same thing, but he also says that at some point he was allowed to keep the child because she was not doing what she was supposed to do as a mother, okay? So let's get into it.
Deal with this. Emailed us a couple of days ago.
Still says, hey, the judge is still making a decision, just have patience. Okay. Today, I went to go pick Zeno up. No, yesterday, I'm filming this little Tubi movie over in DeKalb, and she calls. I get a call from the police saying, hey, she's down here with a friend. Now, I didn't know at the time what friend it was, and I really didn't care. And I'm like, listen, because I hear them, the lieutenant is talking to me, and he's saying, hey, she's worried about the child. And I'm like, the child's in school. Yeah, well, she tries to, the friend is here, and they're pressuring me. And so I didn't know who the friend was, but obviously the friend must have been Diamond, right? They was at the police station yesterday. So I got to wait. There's 30 people. We shooting a movie. I got to wait now and deal with this. So she's impeding me from making money now. So I'm like, okay, I have to call the school. Zeno's in school. Put the principal on so they can have their security clear it, wellness check. All right, boom. I guess all that was done. Today, I had to go take him to get air, eye, and nose after school as part of the records to stay in school. I went to go pick him up. I'm right here in Buckhead. Go down right there where the bus drops him off at.
Forward.
I'm kind of parked by the tree because I like to surprise. Meanwhile, I want to have access. I'm saying whatever it is, I got him, so I'm not worried about it. I'm thinking that she's gonna go get help. Okay. Obviously, the woman needs help, right? So now I go. The ambulance comes. I go to the hospital, and come to find out, I'm in the hospital. I'm sure you don't break a neck or.
Hold on, I'm going to go back just a little bit so you all can hear how he claims he got injured.
I guess the window's down, or the window. Down, I go to see like what the hell's going on, because at this point I seen out there, but I'm tripping. Like somebody got my son's being killed. I don't know what the hell's going on. She's doing this in front of the kids and everything. Right? The whole bus, the school bus, seeing this. I runs past the police. There's 2 officers, go over there. And so I'm like, yo, hey, what are you doing? As I go to the car, I guess the window's down, or the window, I try to put my window in the car to say, like, hold up, slow down. Diamond kind of pulls off, like screeches, fast as hell. I didn't even know it was Diamond. I just seen a whole bunch of orange hair. I don't even know what it was. I'd seen a woman in the front, they're in the back. Pulls off, flies up the street. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It kind of twisted me. My arm got messed up. There is like a slight, the doctor said that we did x-rays. They did a CAT scan and everything. My back's a little messed up. You know what I'm saying? I hit my head on the car, and I definitely messed up my arm. The doctor, they're sending me to a specialist because my arm he said that he thinks there's a slight fracture in there that the x-ray didn't pick up. So I'm going to a specialist.
Now, do you all hear the BS? He said the doctor thinks there's a slight fracture there that the x-ray didn't pick up. How would the x-ray not pick it up? And if the x-ray didn't pick it up, why would the doctor think that it's there? Okay, so it's all nefarious. Benzino, please sit down somewhere. Okay, a slight fracture, Claudette. That's what he said, beloved. Let's continue.
Okay.
So
Sorry that happened to you.
So you know, the brace and everything is just protocol when you go in there, just to make sure you don't break a neck or whatever. So as now, I'm like, yo, I'm talking to the police, like, what the hell? Y'all just gonna let it go on? No, and I forgot this. During him staying here, Georgia DFACS was sent over here. They did a full interview. A Black woman came up and did a full interview with Zeno. Zeno told him some things. I'm not gonna say what was said, but
Why you can't mention that and then not tell us what was said?
because I wasn't even supposed to listen to the interview. She says because they're supposed to do it by himself. I did hear, you know, I was in the next room. I kind of heard it, so I don't want to screw up anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. But what I will tell you is, there's a lot of stuff that Zeno says that was not right. It was not right.
So if it was not right, why would you still want him to have access to Althea?
What do you mean? Why would I want to have access? I'm saying whatever it is, I got him, so I'm not worried about it. I'm thinking that she's gonna go get help. Okay. Obviously, the woman needs help, right? So now I go. The ambulance comes. I go to the hospital, and come to find out, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, I'm sad, I'm angry because Althea has him. And she must have showed police the original 2019 form where she's the primary. We have joint custody, but she's the primary. Based on what Zeno told DFACS and everything, I'm sitting in the hospital. Right after they called me and said, we are bringing Zeno back to you. Zeno's sleeping right in the room right now. They brought Zeno back. Took him from, because she wasn't supposed to have him in the first place. Now, I just seen Diamond's live with her disrespectful ass.
We got to play it for the winos because they do not know what's going on.
With her disrespectful,
okay, hold on real quick.
Self.
Hold on, Jasmine. Upload Diamond's live. Ass laying with a fucking break.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward because we already heard her live.
And your friend, and you, so your friend played you, because guess who the police took? They pulled them over. Police pulled her over, sat them down for a couple hours while I was in the hospital, and eventually called DFACS, and DFACS brought Zeno back to me to the hospital. So what the fuck is she talking about? See, she just got herself in some stupid ass shit that she shouldn't have been involved in. And see, she'll, don't worry, you will find out. She's about to dealing with Althea. Dumb is it was a bad mistake dealing with her. You shouldn't have even, because obviously she said that they came to do a wellness check. You can't do a wellness check. Police have to do a wellness check. Althea grabbed my son and took him to your car like they was and set it off or something. Like they planned this. Yeah, like this was Stony and she's sitting there in the getaway car, and as soon as I get up there, she takes up. You should have seen this shit. It was I couldn't believe it. The bottom line was the judge told Althea not to wait for the decision, and DFACS came prepared, and it's still an open case.
Zeno, turn your phone, but you keep taking yourself off screen.
But my thing is
okay.
when Diamond says shit like she took her friend to go do a wellness check. You can't take anybody to do a wellness check, bozo, the Cleasy. You can't take any. The police have to do a wellness check. You do know that, yes?
Moving on the other side.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, so basically that's what Benzino had to say about the whole thing. I'm going to move on so we can have our Black History moment, and then we're out of here. But before I do, just know that Althea came back on live and was saying that Tasha K had been asked her to come on the show and she might come on there. To which Tasha K obviously saw it and said that she told her team to reach out so that she could actually interview Althea today, honey. So I know Benzino is not going to like that. Okay, another thing is, I told you all that Tasha K was laughing after he left off of there. Because quite frankly, it was kind of obvious Benzino was putting 20 on 10 with that story, okay? As he often does, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion, beloveds. Now, with that all been said, let's get ready for our Black History moment. Give me just a second to cue the video.
Book that's being taught at my old high school. This is the only mention of Emmett Till in the entire book.
Now, I want you all to hear the version of the Emmett Till story that he claims they're teaching the children in schools, okay? And then we'll get into the real story.
Current
And
day?
this is current day. This is what's being taught. In 1955, J.P. Coleman, the Attorney General from Choctaw County, was elected governor in Mississippi's first general election after the Brown v. Board of Education decision. Coleman promised to keep the schools segregated. He proved to be a moderating force during a very difficult time. Just after the election, Emmett Till, a young black man from Chicago, allegedly made a pass at a white woman at a rural store. 2 men kidnapped him, beat him, killed him, and threw his body in the Tallahatchie River, even though it was a lot more than 2. The coverage of the trial and acquittal of his accused murderers, who later admitted their guilt in an article in a national magazine, painted a poor picture of Mississippi and its white citizens. I mean, those are the right answers on the test today. And so, I imagine
That is fucking insane.
Yeah, dude. That's today.
The governor that was doing segregation was a moderating force. Emmett Till was a young man. Man. What grade would he have been in there?
He would have been
grade or something.
8th grade.
Yeah.
7th grade.
Yeah.
By the way, he had just turned 14, and he was at like that real specific age. Like, he liked comic books. His mother at his birthday party, she and her friends were laughing because they overheard him and his friends playing Spin the Bottle.
Yeah.
And so he was at that really specific age of young boyhood where you might be sort of interested in kissing a girl, but you still like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And like, that's who he was. And the textbook says he was a young black man.
Okay, so see how they lie? See how they lie. This is what they do, but no surprise there. Okay, now I'm going to go to a clip of Emmett Till's mother, Mamie Till, speaking about her son.
To the funeral home, about 3 blocks away, an odor met me that nearly knocked me out. I said, "What on earth in the world is that?" It was Emmett's body. That's how the smell was so strong until it covered a 2 or 3 block area. My father was on one side of me, and Rayfield Moody was on the other side of me, and Jean was at my back. And I shrugged them. I said, "Turn me loose. I've got a job to do, and I don't have time to be fainting now." I saw his tongue had been choked out, and it was lying down on his chin. I saw that this eye was out, and it was lying about midway the cheek. I looked at this eye, and it was gone. I looked at the bridge of his nose, and it looked like someone had taken a meat chopper and chopped it. And I looked at his teeth, because I took so much pride in his teeth. His teeth were the prettiest things I'd ever seen in my life, I thought. And I only saw 2. Where are the rest of them? They'd just been knocked out. And I was looking at his ears. His ears were like mine. They curled. They're not attached, and they curled up. The same way mine are. And I didn't see the ear. Where's the ear? And that's when I discovered a hole about here, and I could see daylight on the other side. I said, "Now, was it necessary to shoot it? If that's a bullet hole, was that necessary?" And I also discovered that they had taken an axe and they had gone straight down across his head.
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told. And more important,
Okay, so that was his mother, Miss Mamie Till Mosley. Now, I'm going to next go to a clip of his cousin, Simeon Wright. And these clips came from the Untold documentary of Emmett Till.
The men, Callan's husband, Roy Bryant, J.W. Milan, they came to the house about 2 a.m. I don't know the exact time, but somewhere in that vicinity. And of course, the house was 4 bedrooms. Wheeler, the first house, was on the west side of the house where Wheeler was sleeping. They went in there. They awakened Wheeler and said, "This is the wrong boy." So we're looking for the fat boy from Chicago. And they marched around to my bedroom. And I heard the noise, the loud talking, and I woke up and saw these 2 white men standing at the foot of my bed. One had a gun, flashlight. Later on, found out it was J.W. Milan. He ordered me to lay back down and go back to sleep, and he made Emmett get up and dress and march him out to the truck. A lot of things happened before they marched him out because I still didn't know what was going on. Then when my mother came in there, and she was half talking and half pleading with them to leave him alone, that she would give them money to leave him alone. And Roy kind of hesitated when they heard money, but J.W. Milan, he didn't hesitate at all. And before he left my bedroom, he asked my daddy, how old was he? Of course, at the time, my daddy told him he was 64. And J.W. said that if you tell anybody about this, you won't live to get 65. And they marched Emmett out. Emmett didn't say one word.
Your mother kind of knew somehow, maybe.
Well, she knew how low down those segregationists were. She knew. I didn't know because I wasn't old enough. But she knew. My dad knew too. And once they marched him out to the truck, and a lady voice responded when they asked, "Is this the right one?" A lady responded, "He is." Some said, "Who was it?" I said, "We believed at that time it was Callan Bryant." Nothing has happened.
Our digital PDF, Black History Facts You Probably Didn't Learn.
Okay, so that is absolutely so egregious. Okay, absolutely egregious. Now I'm going to go to another clip from that same cousin, which was some years later. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
That's a white man y'all dug about the grave, trying to embarrass Mississippi. You know Emmett Till's up in Detroit with his grandfather. That is not Emmett Till. Emmett Till was fair-skinned with light eyes. And so he said, that's a white man y'all dug up. And of course, back then we didn't have the DNA. So when they went to court, they won based on the fact that's not Emmett. And if you can, I want you to make sure you listen to his mother's last reconciliation speech. You got to hear it. Everybody need to hear it. Every person living, because everybody faces atrocities. They face drama in their life. She said, those people who did that to my son is like they don't exist. I can't afford to hate. And I was on the same page. Both of us were saying the same thing, not knowing it. And I go and I said, look, I don't have no hate. It's the hate destroys the hater. He said, you don't hate, why don't you? I said, I can't afford the luxury of hate. And if you don't forgive, God don't forgive you.
And me and my uncle, who's a bishop, were debating back and forth about that very topic right there just last week. I was telling him I don't have to forgive everybody. I forgive who I want to. And why would I forgive people who don't ask for forgiveness and who are not even repentant? They're not sorry for what they did. I don't have to forgive them. And then he started telling me about the Bible and, oh, you're not going to go to heaven and God doesn't forgive you if you don't forgive others. And I said, listen, I don't believe that. That's what it says in the Bible. Okay, yeah. Well, who put stuff in the Bible? Okay. Some things in the Bible are not true, in my opinion. And also, I told him God didn't forgive everybody either. Okay, that's why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Okay, that's why Samson was allowed to get revenge on the Philistines. Okay, I just told him all of those stories, and then he told me to those things that I brought up. He simply responded and said, "Well, that was before the cross." And I'm like, "What's that have to do with anything?" So anyway, we had our back and forth. Okay, if you have to forgive everybody, and that's the only way you're going to get to heaven, honey, well, I guess I won't be going. Okay, I guess I won't be making it because I'm not there yet. So that's just what it is. Now, that being said, I'm going to, in fact, go to her last reconciliation speech. And let me say this. Someone put in the chat, I can't remember who it was. They said those were not bullet holes in his head. Those were drills that they said it to a magazine. And that's not what they said to a magazine, beloved. To the magazine, Look magazine, when they gave their confession, which was in 1956, they both said that they shot him in the head. Okay. They said they shot him in the head. They beat him with a .45 pistol. They attached a 75-pound cotton gin fan to his neck with barbed wire and threw his body in the Tallahatchie River. Okay, that's what is reported. All right, so now with that all been said, let's continue. I'm going to go to the speech. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
To give honor to God, who is the source of my strength and the reason for my being. In 1955, when my only child was killed, it seemed that there was nothing for me to live for. I wanted to die. But in the midst of that planning, the Lord spoke to me, and he told me not to spend my time hating the perpetrators of the crime, because they would not even know that I was hating them. And the things that would be released into my body would eventually destroy me. And while I was pondering that statement, another something was spoken to me, and that something was, I am the ruler of heaven and earth. I see all things. I'm commissioning you to go into the vineyard and work. And what is right, I will pay. And don't forget that vengeance is mine. And a wonderful thing happened to me. It seemed like someone took a giant eraser and my mind had become a chalkboard, and everything, all memories of Mr. Milam and Mr. Bryant were erased from my thoughts. I was able to go out into the vineyard and work, which I'd been commissioned to do, and that work turned out to be training boys and girls to do Dr. King's speeches. I can truthfully say that for 47 years, I have not wasted any time hating Milam and Bryant. They became inconsequential so far as I was concerned. It was as if they didn't even exist. And since I have had time to think things over, I don't want anyone dead. And even the people that are proven guilty, and these two men did confess of their foul deed, but even so, I do not wish, I don't have the balance of life and death in my hands. That was entrusted to God himself. He sends us here, he takes us away. I do know that from time to time I've heard rumors of Milam and Brian. I know that both of them lost. I too give honor to God, who is the source of my strength and the reason for my being.
Okay. Now, I think some of our people do too much of that. Now, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from being forgiven or whatever, however you want to do. I'm only speaking on my own opinion. I think that some of our people just do a little too much of that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but anyway, before I roll out of here, beloveds, listen, I forgot to show you all what the people out here in the streets are saying about 50 Cent. Okay, some of the comments and whatnot. Okay, so hold on. Let's talk about some of the comments they're saying about 50. I'm going to pull up just a couple. 50's just not doing himself any favors, is all I'm saying. Going in on innocent people who don't have anything to do with your foolishness. Okay, someone said, I mean, it is a flex that Tip can actually be sitting with his wife, mother, and his kids while 50 has been trolling grown men for 20 years. I can appreciate that Tip got in the booth. Plus, this is good promo for the album. And then someone said T.I. flexes on 50 Cent by posting a family dinner table video eating good and unbothered amid the beef. So, yeah, you know, that's a good question. Where is 50's family? Okay? Where is his family? Where's his loved ones? Oh, that's right. His son can't stand him, and neither can the baby mom. Okay? Sadly but true. Someone says, don't waste too much time. 50 just gonna meme you to death, T.I. You know, I think it's given narcissist. Okay, seems that he's a bit of a narcissist. Like he just doesn't want to let it go. He has to feel the need to get the last word. You know? Like he just feels the need to get the last word. The silly self. 50 Cent lame as hell, and that bully ish he be on ain't worked with nobody that can really rap. He just gonna meme and have all his flunkies make jokes. Okay, so I think we all know. And then I saw some people on Instagram saying that they wanted to cancel him. They're like, we need to just go ahead and cancel him. Like, how long are we going to put up with it? And I agreed. Okay, can we cancel him already? And you know, it's interesting. He posted a picture of him and Tyler Perry saying that pretty soon everybody's going to have to come to him and Tyler Perry to get work. Now, I thought that was interesting considering these nefarious allegations that have been levied against Tyler Perry as of late. But he did a whole documentary on Diddy, but he doesn't seem to be bothered by Tyler Perry's allegations. I thought that was a bit interesting. Okay, seems to me selective outrage. All right, so with that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I hope everyone got something out of it. Now, I may come back later. I'm not sure, but if I do, it'll be between 7:30 and 8. All right, so until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got